The magnitude of Jack, like any pioneer in his day, Jack had this wild idea, this wild theory that birds migrated. Before Jack, the study of bird migration didn't really happen. And what happened with Jack is known as the father of conservation, simply because he was really the first person to really link not only people's roles and people's responsibilities in conserving nature and helping our environment, but he was really the first to incorporate hunting practices as a method of conservation, to not overwhelm our ecosystem and to really try to bring balance to our world, balance to our planet. And he was able to see at the turn of the century, at the turn of the 1900s, how market hunting was starting to negatively impact our environment. And because while market hunters were hunting simply to survive, there was no understanding of the ramifications of it, where if you didn't work with people to foster that knowledge, to foster that awareness that, hey, our resources actually are finite, and hey, if we aren't careful, our world is going to be in trouble, and we are going to run out of these precious resources that we're taking for granted, and we have to do something. So that's where I feel as though Jack's impact is he was conservation before it was cool to be a conservationist.
Jack would be completely misunderstood if we didn't talk about how important God was to him. Jack was a devout Christian man. And when we talk about Jack becoming a conservationist for the sake of giving back to nature or to the land that had provided him with so much, the way we really need to understand that is he believed was given so much by God, and it was his responsibility to protect God's creatures, God's creation, and to also give back to that God that had given him so much. When Jack decided that he was going to focus on the system of banding migratory waterfowl, his Christian values were deeply embedded in the process. It was very early on that he made the decision that on each aluminum band he was fixing to a waterfowl, he would also include a biblical passage. This method of sharing the gospel by wing certainly worked. Today we continue to select biblical passages and have them etched into our bands that we continue to band in our banding net today.
Back here's our Jack Miner catch pen. This pen is the same design that Jack Miner used. This net has been copied by the Kellogg Foundation and numerous other people throughout North America because it's been such a great design. And catching in the water is a different design also. This is one of the few that is actually designed to catch big numbers of birds in the water. It's a Jack Miner design. So how this works is we bait underneath our net every night and every morning. And we sit in the trees, and there literally is a cable that goes underground. And then if you get enough birds under there without spooking them accidentally, you pull the cable and the sides fall down like an old squirrel box. So the sides fall down and hold the birds inside. And because our trap doesn't come straight down, the injuries to the birds are very minimal. The traps come down into a 45, so if they are on the outskirts where the net's coming down, it pushes them in or it misses them altogether. So it's a really unique design. Once we have them caught in there, we bring down a local school, Jack Miner Grade School, as well as numerous volunteers, and we'll walk them up into our catch pen on the end, and we'll pick up the birds one at a time, do our necessary identification on the bird, band the bird, and release it. Our new thing with Canadian Wildlife Service is quite exciting for us. The way we band is still the same, but it has changed the way we band in the fact that now we take more detail on every bird that we pick up that we band. And as we get on with this, we're now putting on a Jack Miner band and a Canadian Wildlife Service band on every goose and every duck that goes through here. So all of our information is now shared with them, as well as all of theirs is shared with us. So that's it's quite exciting for us. It's expanded our horizons tremendously and our ability to track where the birds go, based on the fact that as they get recoveries with our bands on them, the same vice versa, we share all the information. So we depend greatly on hunters to harvest birds so that we get the information back on those birds. And then we can better track where the flocks end up and where they come from, where they go to, so on and so forth.
Yeah, Jack was certainly instrumental in the initiation of the banding movement, and banding is critically important as an educational tool, but it's also critically important in determining where birds migrate to and from. But it's also very important for setting harvest regulations, especially in the United States. So we can figure out mortality rates, types of mortality, and so it's become a very critically important part of waterfowl management in North America, and it continues to be so. It's truly incredible what hunters have done for conservation in North America. They were the first conservationists back in the early portions of the last century when waterfowl populations were not doing very well at all. They convinced our governments to get rid of commercial harvest of wildlife. And it was amazing reading about Jack, that Jack went from being a commercial hunter to promoting recreational hunting and the protection of waterfowl and having sanctuaries and what have you. And you think about how many geese were here on the Jack Miner property when he first got here, and how many there are today. Like, it's one of the most important wildlife management success stories of our time. It really is.
The Jack Miner Migratory Bird Foundation is a non-for-profit organization that is unlike any other non-for-profit in the world. Our educational based curriculum is perfect for those kindergarten through grade 8ers who want to learn about the environment.
We opened the doors to the Learning Center of September and October of last year, and we saw 1,300 kids walk through the door. Not only are we making sure that our programming now is aligned with specific and overall expectations of the Ontario curriculum, it's our education programming that's going to get them out in the ponds doing pond studies. We do invertebrate studies. We talk about some of the wetland restoration that we're doing. We're having kids assist in land restoration projects by identifying and managing invasive species. We're sort of grooming a generation of young conservationists that will move up and be much more aware of the human impact on wildlife and the environment and what they can do to help resolve those problems. We can't trick ourselves to believe that a single person can't have an impact. You certainly can. There are many examples of just that, and Jack is one of the greatest.
Thank you guys so much for the support. We have absolutely no permanent funding, so your donations go a long way to being able to teach the future leaders, the future conservationists, the future hunters, the bird watchers, the future farmers, the future outdoor enthusiasts. Everybody is welcome. Come on down and experience the wonder of Jack Miner for yourself.
I was honored to be chosen as someone who would be able to pick the Bible verse that's on the Jack Miner bands this next year. I know that's something that's been going on for a long time. I chose the verse Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, which says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight." And I thought that'd be a great verse to be on there as we go to trust in the Lord. And I'm appreciative of Jack Miner and the legacy that continues through the organization that he led to really spearhead a lot of conservation efforts to get more outdoors men, children, women outside, and to preserve the legacy, particularly with waterfowl and what he's done. And I'm honored to be a part of it, honored for Weatherby to be a part of such an incredible organization.